Hey everybody, we just got our first look at the 10.1 tier sets, so I wanted to take a look at all the different healer tier sets and kind of give you guys my first impressions. As always on this channel, we're going to look at them through the eyes of Mythic Plus healing, so let's get a look at these things. Alright, so let's start with Resto Druid. The 2-set bonus makes Rejuvenation and Life Bloom healing increase by 15%, and Regrowth healing over time increase by 75%. The 4-set Flourish increases the rate of your heal over time effects by 40% for an additional 16 seconds after it ends. Verdant Infusion causes your Swiftmen target to gain 15% increased healing from you for 6 seconds. Then we have a developer's note. The duration of the 4-piece Flourish bonus is halved if Flourish is cast by Convoke the Spirits. So pretty impactful 2-set here with a flat out 15% increase to Rejuve and Life Bloom, which are already huge heals for Druid. 75% is a gaudy number for the Regrowth heal over time effect, but that doesn't usually represent a huge amount of healing. As for the 4-set, I mean, wow, Flourish is already an excellent cooldown, and this basically making it continue on for another 16 seconds, so essentially tripling its duration at 40% effectiveness. Also consider that, at least in Mythic Plus, we're also usually popping Nature's Vigil alongside Flourish, which has a 30-second duration as well, so for 24 seconds of your Vigil, you're benefiting from Flourish in some capacity, which sounds like a lot of damage and pretty beastly for Mythic Plus, guys. So this next part depends on if you're taking Verdant Infusion over Flourish. If you are taking that talent, then your Swiftmen targets gains 15% healing effectiveness from you for 6 seconds. This is really specific to healing a single target, and right off the bat, I'm not seeing much reason why you would take this, at least in a Mythic Plus environment. Now, I don't really understand this developer's note about the 4-piece Flourish bonus is halved if Flourish is cast by Convoke the Spirits, because Flourish doesn't get cast by Convoke as far as I know. I'm wondering if they mean that if you cast Convoke during this window, then it's halved. I'm not sure. I think we need some clarification on that. But anyway, my first impression on the Druid set is it is very, very good. Okay, so on to Preservation Evoker, the 2-set bonus. Spirit Bloom applies the heal over time effect for 40% of healing done over 8 seconds, and Dream Breath's healing is increased by 15%. 4-set bonus, after casting 3 Empower spells, you gain Essence Burst immediately, and then another 3 seconds after. So the 2-set is going to add a heal over time effect to Spirit Bloom for 40% of the healing, which sounds decent because Spirit Bloom heals for a lot, as well as a 15% buff to Dream Breath, and as we know, Dream Breath also heals for a ton. So I mean, imagine reversions, your Spirit Bloom, and a buff Dream Breath all ticking on a party that's a lot of healing over time spells. So then the 4-set, after 3 Empower spells, you basically gain 2 quick Essence Bursts. I'm a little concerned this is more evidence of Blizzard wanting Evoker to play an Emerald Blossom build. Imagine doing Fire Breath, Spirit Bloom, and Dream Breath. So 3 Empower spells, then you get these 2 Essence Bursts, so that would allow you to shoot out like 3 quick Emerald Blossoms, which actually sounds pretty cool and super duper bursty. If you aren't using it for that, I guess the Essence Burst can be used to make up for the extra echoes you aren't getting from Temporal Anomaly, or maybe Disintegrates for damage. This looks like it will be a fun one to test out and see the applications of knowing you've got 2 Essence Bursts coming your way back to back and what you can do with them. But I think we're going to need to test it out a little bit and see how it feels. I think it's going to actually feel really bad on Evoker to lose all those instant living flame procs, which are just so much fun to play with. All right, let's get a look at Mistweaver Monk. 2-set bonus, Renewing Mists has a chance to grant Soulfang Infusion, granting 5% of your maximum mana over 6 seconds. And 4-set, drinking a tea or gaining Soulfang Infusion increases the healing of your Vivify and Renewing Mist by 40% for 6 seconds. So the 2-set alone doesn't look like much and really needs to consider the 4-set to make sense of it. It's nice to see that Blizzard is addressing another Monk weakness here, being mana issues. We don't know the proc rate on this, but you're casting Renewing Mists a ton, so if it's even a decent proc rate, you're getting a lot of mana back from this. And then to build on this, each time you drink tea or get this 2-set proc, you're getting a 40% buff to your Vivify and Renewing Mists by 40%, which is a lot of healing. So a lot of this will come down to the proc rate on the 2-set. It's kind of cool that you'll be getting it passively from the proc, but also have some control over it by drinking a tea, meaning you can trigger this set bonus when you want to. Kind of hard to predict here since Monk is about to undergo so many changes, but I'm really intrigued by this 4-set. It sounds like it could be quite good. All right, on to the Holy Paladin. Quick disclaimer for Holy Paladin, guys. I haven't played a lot of Holy Paladin this season. I played it a lot in the Dragonflight beta, though, so I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts here. In the 2-set bonus, Holy Shock's critical strikes heal for 15% more and reduce the cooldown of Light's Hammer by 2 seconds and Holy Prism by 1 second. Then the 4-set, Light's Hammer heals 100% more frequently and generates 1 holy power every 4 seconds. Holy Prism's healing is increased by 80% and it generates 1 holy power if cast on an enemy target or 3 if cast on an ally. So we're getting some throughput increases here as Holy Shock crits a lot. You're going to be getting 15% more from that, reducing the CD on Light's Hammer and Holy Prism. Most popular M+ builds currently are running Light's Hammer. Light's Hammer doesn't really do a huge amount of damage or healing over the course of a given run, but doubling its healing and generating 1 holy power every 4 seconds, which given a 14-second duration would equate to 3 holy power, I guess. Doesn't quite add up perfectly. Doesn't sound totally bad. Now, Holy Shock does crit a whole lot, and I imagine we're going to get the benefit of this set from the Divine Toll Holy Shock crits as well. So this might make for a ton of uptime on Hammer, which I guess could actually be pretty cool. Feels like one we're going to have to want to wait and test to see how hard we can push it, so I'll reserve judgment here. No pun intended, Paladins. You guys know I've been absolutely loving my Disc Priest since 10.0.5, and I was a little disappointed to see it wasn't getting any changes in 10.0.7. But first of all, basically, when you DPS with Penance, it does a little bit of healing, and when you heal with Penance, it does a little DPS. Seems kind of lackluster compared to, say, the Druid 2-set. Maybe I'm underestimating the amount of healing 20% of an offensive Penance is. Now the 4-set, every 3 penances gives you 5 seconds of Shadow Covenant and converts that penance into a shadow spell. This is kind of neat, assuming this Shadow Penance gets buffed by Shadow Covenant as well. I'm interested to see how this interacts with things like Harsh Discipline, and it will be cool to see what kind of combos we can put together to make the most out of this, because 5 seconds of Shadow Covenant isn't very much, especially if like half of it is channeling penance anyway. I'm going to reserve judgment here until we get a chance to actually try this out, but the 4-set is intriguing on paper, with a lot of potential to min-max, I think. Like many things Disc Priest, I think my concern with this one might be like we're overcomplicating an already pretty complicated spec. Like, God forbid Disc just gets a tier bonus that's like a 15% increase to a heal or a 40% increase to a heal that they don't have to actively manage, since you have to actively manage so much. I mean, if you look at the things that recently really helped out Disc, it was making Radiance actually do some big healing. It's things like that that Disc can really use. All right, on to Holy Priest. So the 2-set bonus, Prayer of Mending, has a 20% chance to duplicate to another nearby target when it jumps. 4-set bonus, when Prayer of Mending jumps, it increases the damage and healing of your next holy word by 4%, stacking up to 15 times. Okay, so again, I'm guilty in not playing a ton of Holy Priest in 10.0, but I have played a ton of it in the past, as you know if you've followed my channel for a while, and looking at this set from an M+ perspective, I am a little disappointed. I can see this set spreading Prayer of Mendings like a wildfire in raids, but in Mythic Plus with only 5 people to jump to and a 20% chance of splitting, I feel like this 2-set is going to just kind of die in the water and may not get a lot of benefit. If I'm reading correctly, it can stack up to 15 times, but I'm guessing it's consumed once used, and thinking about how frequently Holy Priest uses holy words, what's the chance this is going to make it long enough to reach 15 stacks? I don't know, seems pretty underwhelming at first glance, at least in the Mythic Plus environment. Now, it seems kind of like Priest at the moment is trending in a direction where Disc is your Mythic Plus spec and Holy is your raid spec, and if that's the case, I guess I would be okay with that, but it would be nice to have something that's a little bit more viable in M+ for Holy Priest. Alright, finally on to Resto Shaman. So the 2-set bonus, when you cast Healing Rain, all allies with your Riptide on them are healed by Tidewaters for 140% spell power. And the 4-set, each ally healed by Tidewaters increases your haste by 1% for 6 seconds and increases the healing of your next Riptide by 10%. So you'll be getting a bonus heal for putting down Healing Rain for allies that have Riptide, making this one of those tier sets that just kind of rewards you for playing your spec right, which we saw a lot of in 10.0. The 4-set builds on this by giving you a haste buff for each ally affected by this. In Mythic Plus, obviously that's a maximum of 5%, but very likely more like 3 or 4 given the cooldown on Riptide. Then it's followed by a 10% buff to one Riptide afterwards. I don't know, when compared to some of the earlier tier sets we talked about, it seems a little bit lackluster. Shaman has been doing awesome lately, and I think has a lot to look forward to with upcoming patches, which could be the reason that the tier set doesn't look all that amazing at first glance. Maybe Blizzard is thinking that they've given Shaman a ton of things already. So let's hear what you guys think. Please let me know in the comment section your thoughts on these tier sets, and if you made it this far in the video, I always appreciate a thumbs up, helps me out a lot, or subscribe to see more of my content in the future. You can also check out my stream here on YouTube Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 9 p.m. Pacific, where we do lots of Mythic Plus healing. Hope to see you there. Until next time, happy healing.